Since the dawn of civilization, humanity has sought out specific substances to alter its perception of reality. Among these, alcohol holds a unique and profound place, revered in festive celebrations, employed as a remedy in ancient times, and transformed into a symbol of indulgence and escape. Yet in our modern world, few pause to question the deeper, intrinsic nature of this substance. But what if we were to examine alcohol not just as a means of entertainment or physical pleasure, but through the lens of spirituality? What if its impact extends beyond the realms of the body and mind, touching upon the very fabric of the soul? The word alcohol is derived from the Arabic term Al-Kuhul, which referred to a fine black powder once used in alchemy. Some spiritual traditions claim that its etymology suggests a deeper, mystical meaning, representing a substance capable of separating the spirit from the body. Curiously, this separation is something that, at least on some level, takes place when an individual consumes alcohol. But what if the effects of alcohol reach deeper, affecting not just the mind and body, but the soul itself? Could alcohol be more than just a substance? Could it act as a veil, clouding spiritual awareness and hindering one's connection to higher realms of consciousness? In this exploration, we will delve into the hidden spiritual consequences of alcohol consumption. We'll trace its mystical origins, its connection to vital energy, and its impact on human consciousness. Through an examination of ancient esoteric texts and the wisdom of various spiritual traditions, we will uncover the long-held warnings regarding alcohol's effects. These teachings, passed down through generations, suggest that alcohol may not only be a barrier to spiritual growth, but also a tool that opens doors to realms few can comprehend. We'll seek to uncover the knowledge that has been hidden for centuries and examine how these ancient truths could forever alter our understanding of this seemingly innocuous substance. Throughout history, alcohol has simultaneously been considered both a gift of the gods and a challenge for the human spirit. From ancient rituals to modern celebrations, it has been used in sacred rites, social gatherings, and even shamanic ceremonies. However, the question remains: what did ancient spiritual traditions really say about its consumption? Al-Kuhul, derived from medieval Arabic, referred to the alchemical substance capable of transforming base metals. Yet in esoteric traditions, this term took on a far deeper significance. It symbolized a substance capable of severing the spiritual essence of the human being. Alchemists, preoccupied with the transmutation of base materials into gold, were acutely aware that certain substances, like alcohol, could shift the delicate balance between body and soul, weakening the mind's control over the physical world. In spiritual alchemy, the refinement of the soul demanded purity. Any substance that altered this balance was viewed as an obstruction on the path to enlightenment. Could alcohol, in its liquid form, serve as a modern counterpart to Al-Kuhul, serving to cloud and distort our spiritual progress? Throughout the ages, spiritual traditions have held a complex and often contradictory stance toward alcohol. In Buddhism, for example, the fifth precept cautions that intoxicants cloud the mind, creating negative karma and distancing the practitioner from true spiritual awakening. In Hinduism, while some sacred texts speak of soma, a divine drink, the use of ordinary alcohol is often seen as an impediment to spiritual ascent. Similarly, in Islam, the Quran unequivocally warns against alcohol, stating that it is a diversion from the path of truth, a tool of Satan that impairs judgment and weakens one's connection to the divine. Christianity, too, offers a mixed view. While wine features in the Bible, notably at the Last Supper, many Christian denominations have condemned alcohol abuse, associating it with sin and the loss of control over the soul. In indigenous shamanic practices, certain plant-based substances are used for spiritual purposes, but alcohol rarely plays a role in rites of purification or communication with spirits. In fact, it is often said that alcohol opens portals to lower vibrational energies, inviting negative influences into one's experience. Esoteric teachings emphasize the existence of an energetic body and the vibrational fields that surround us. According to these teachings, alcohol disrupts the harmony of these fields, making us more susceptible to external forces. In states of intoxication, consciousness fragments, willpower diminishes, and the astral body becomes vulnerable to influence from energies outside of ourselves. This could explain why, in various cultures, alcoholic beverages are referred to as spirits. From ancient sages to the most influential religious doctrines, the consensus appears to be clear. Alcohol is not merely a physical substance, it is an agent of spiritual disconnection. What we drink can profoundly influence not only our physical state, but also our consciousness and our connection to the broader universe. In many cultures, alcohol is described as a solvent of the spirit, something that can dissolve the boundaries of self-awareness and connection to higher realms. It affects not just the body and mind, but also the vital energy that sustains our being. In this section, we will examine the esoteric consequences of alcohol from a metaphysical standpoint. In the study of spirituality, everything in the universe is understood to possess a frequency or vibration. Emotions such as love, peace, and gratitude resonate at higher frequencies, while fear, anger, and attachment vibrate at much lower frequencies. Could alcohol be one of the substances that lowers our vibration, severing our ability to connect with higher planes of existence? Could the act of drinking fundamentally alter our relationship with the universe, clouding our perception of truth and spiritual awakening? As we explore these concepts, we invite you to reconsider the conventional understanding of alcohol as a harmless indulgence. What if it is far more than that? What if it plays a pivotal role in the energetic landscape of our existence, one that influences not only our physical well-being, but also the very nature of our spiritual connection? This journey is not just about questioning alcohol's place in our lives. It's about questioning the true nature of reality itself. Meditation, fasting, and connecting with nature are practices that elevate our vibrational frequency, raising our energy levels and aligning us with higher, more refined aspects of our being. These acts help strengthen our connection to the divine, promote spiritual growth, and enhance our inner clarity. In contrast, consuming intoxicating substances, especially alcohol, tends to lower this vibration, affecting both our physical and spiritual well-being. Alcohol, by its very nature, slows down the vibrational frequency of the human energy field, causing an energetic descent that has profound spiritual consequences. When a person drinks excessively, their aura weakens, and their astral body becomes exposed and vulnerable to external influences. This lowering of the vibrational frequency can create an energetic environment in which dense, lower emotions, such as sadness, anger, frustration, or confusion, take control of the individual's psyche, steering them further away from their spiritual center. Ancient mystical traditions have long taught that humans possess multiple subtle bodies, one of which is the astral body. This astral body is the vehicle of consciousness in non-physical realms, allowing us to navigate higher planes of existence. However, when alcohol is consumed in excess, the stability of the astral body is compromised. This makes it easier for lower astral entities, beings that thrive on the energy of negative emotions, to invade the individual's energy field and influence their thoughts and behavior. It's said that these entities, attracted to the dense emotions triggered by alcohol, find a way to infiltrate the mind during states of inebriation. This may explain why many people experience feelings of emptiness, depression, or intense anxiety after a night of drinking, as if something foreign or alien has attached itself to their energy field. Some shamanic traditions claim that certain negative spirits can temporarily possess a person who is under the influence of alcohol, compelling them to act in ways they would never consider when fully conscious. There are numerous documented cases of individuals committing acts under the influence of alcohol that, in their sober state, seem completely alien to their true selves. These actions, often regretful and impulsive, can have lasting consequences on the person's energy, relationships, and spiritual journey. One of the most significant spiritual consequences of alcohol consumption is the disconnection from the higher self, the most enlightened, wise, and intuitive aspect of our consciousness. When the physical body is intoxicated, the mind becomes clouded, and the inner voice, which guides us toward wisdom and understanding, becomes inaudible. This loss of clarity makes introspection difficult, obstructs intuition, and weakens our connection to the divine. In yoga, for example, the practice of meditation and the control of prana, vital energy, are seen as essential components for achieving enlightenment. However, alcohol disrupts this process by altering the flow of energy in the body, blocking key energy centers known as chakras. The third eye chakra, ajna, which governs intuition and spiritual insight, is especially affected by alcohol consumption. Under its influence, the third eye becomes clouded and disconnected, making it difficult for the individual to access higher levels of awareness. Similarly, the solar plexus chakra, Manipura, which governs willpower, self-discipline, and personal empowerment, becomes weakened. This makes the individual more susceptible to losing control over their actions and desires. The throat chakra, Vishuddha, which is responsible for truthful communication and self-expression, can also be distorted under the influence of alcohol. Many people in this altered state find themselves saying things they later regret, unable to express themselves clearly or truthfully. When we disconnect from the higher self, we lose the ability to act with wisdom, discernment, and integrity. In this state, we become more vulnerable to unconscious impulses and desires that pull us away from our true path. From a karmic perspective, every action we take has a consequence, whether positive or negative, on our spiritual evolution. If alcohol causes us to act impulsively or without control, we generate karma that must later be reconciled. Irresponsible actions taken under the influence of alcohol, such as broken promises, hurtful words, or aggression, create karmic bonds that must be resolved either in this life or in future incarnations. Over time, repeated alcohol consumption can become a karmic prison, trapping the individual in cycles of self-destruction, spiritual disconnection, and unresolved past actions. Esoteric traditions teach that the reality we experience is a reflection of our internal state. When we are clear-minded, fully conscious, and spiritually aligned, we are able to perceive the world as it truly is, unclouded by illusions. However, alcohol creates a fog that distorts our perception, making us more susceptible to illusions and self-deception. Under its influence, the mind becomes confused, and the individual loses the ability to distinguish between what is real and what is false. This confusion is seen in internal alchemy as a form of self-deception, a distortion that pulls the person further away from their purpose and mission in this lifetime. Mystics throughout history have described spiritual awakening as a process of dispelling the veils of illusion that obscure our true nature. To seek the truth, a person must cultivate clarity of mind, purity of heart, and a strong, resilient spirit. Alcohol works in the opposite direction, generating additional veils that obscure the connection to universal wisdom, making it more difficult to access higher knowledge and truth. The concept of soul fragmentation has been explored in many ancient mystical and spiritual traditions. It is believed that traumatic experiences, unconscious actions, or decisions that go against the inner voice can cause a fracture in the unity of the soul. In this state of fragmentation, the person may experience moments of amnesia, loss of control, or disorientation. These lapses are not merely the result of memory loss, but represent a temporary tearing of the energy field, a disruption in the cohesive flow of the soul. Each episode of intoxication further weakens the soul's cohesion, leaving the individual feeling disconnected from their true essence. Over time, many ancient cultures recognized the need for soul retrieval as a necessary part of spiritual healing. Shamans and mystics have long practiced rituals to heal individuals who have experienced soul fragmentation due to excessive alcohol consumption or other harmful behaviors. Those who have abused alcohol for many years often report a persistent feeling of emptiness, as if they have lost a part of themselves. From an esoteric perspective, this emptiness is not just metaphorical, but a real energetic void that must be healed through spiritual reintegration practices. These practices help restore balance, reunite the fragmented soul, and guide the individual back to their higher state of being, allowing them to reconnect with their true self and align with their divine purpose. One of the foundational laws that governs the universe is the law of attraction, which asserts that the frequency at which we vibrate directly influences what we attract into our lives. In simpler terms, what we put out energetically is what we receive back. Alcohol, in its essence, disrupts this natural balance by lowering the frequency of our vibrations. When a person consumes alcohol frequently, they may begin to notice a pattern of increasingly chaotic situations surrounding them. Arguments become more frequent, relationships start to fray, and unexpected obstacles arise. This is not simply coincidence. It's the direct result of aligning oneself with energies that are discordant with one's higher purpose. The great spiritual teachers and sages of history have always emphasized that in order to live a harmonious life, one must cultivate purity of thought, emotion, and action. When substances like alcohol enter the body, they disturb this delicate equilibrium, causing the person to stray from their highest potential. In esoteric traditions, it is believed that each individual is guided by spiritual guardians, beings of light that protect and support our souls on our evolutionary journey. These guardians, however, can only work with a person's consciousness and will. When alcohol is consumed to excess, it clouds the mind, disturbs emotional balance, and weakens control over one's actions. In this diminished state, the spiritual guardians are less able to assist, leaving the person more vulnerable to external influences. These influences could be anything from dense energies to destructive thoughts or even lower astral entities that feed off negative emotions. This vulnerability is why many ancient cultures viewed alcohol consumption as something that weakened the connection to the divine. They believed that a person's spirit must remain firm and rooted in its center in order to receive divine guidance and protection on its path. At this point, we've delved into some of the deeper spiritual consequences of alcohol: soul fragmentation, distorted perception, the attraction of negative energies, and a severed connection to the higher self. However, esoteric wisdom doesn't just point out these dangers. It also offers a path to healing and restoration. Below, we'll explore some practical and spiritual methods to cleanse the energy field, restore a strong connection with higher consciousness, and strengthen inner willpower. Ancient spiritual traditions have long understood that the purity of the body reflects the purity of the soul. When the body is affected by substances that weaken its energetic field, it is essential to begin a process of detoxification, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. Conscious fasting, for instance, is a powerful tool in many spiritual practices, allowing the body to eliminate toxins and restore its natural state of balance. Fasting is often viewed not only as a physical cleanse, but as a means to purify the mind and spirit as well. Similarly, herbal infusions such as milk thistle, dandelion, and nettle can aid in cleansing the liver, the organ most impacted by alcohol. Solarized water, which is water exposed to sunlight in a blue glass vessel, is believed to recharge vital energy and clear lingering negative energy imprints. Mental clarity meditation is another powerful method, focused on deep breathing to calm the mind and regain control over one's thoughts. Journaling or automatic writing helps release mental blockages by providing a space to express thoughts and emotions, allowing the subconscious to heal. Conscious silence, spending time without distractions, also serves as a tool to reconnect with the inner voice and cultivate mental clarity. The energetic body, comprising the aura and chakras, can be significantly affected by alcohol, becoming weakened or fragmented. To restore balance, practices aimed at healing the subtle field are essential. Salt and herb baths using sea salt and plants like rosemary or lavender are known to purify negative energies and restore vibrational harmony. Grounding exercises like walking barefoot on earth or grass help stabilize the energy field by reconnecting with the earth's grounding energies. Sacred fire cleansing, lighting a candle or burning incense with the intention of purifying the personal energy field, can be found in many shamanic traditions as an effective way to reset one's spiritual energy. Additionally, high vibration sound frequencies such as mantras, Tibetan singing bowls, or solfeggio frequencies can help harmonize the chakras and repair energy imbalances in the aura. When alcohol interferes with one's connection to the higher self, it becomes imperative to re-establish that bond. The process of reconnecting with the divine essence requires consistent practices of introspection, spiritual openness, and sincere devotion. Prayer, regardless of religious background, helps to elevate the soul's vibration, fostering communication with the divine. Meditating on sacred symbols such as the flower of life or the Sri Yantra aligns the consciousness with higher realms. A powerful technique called light cord visualization, where one imagines a beam of golden light connecting the crown chakra to infinity, can help restore the connection to the divine and strengthen spiritual awareness. For those who have used alcohol as a form of escape or social coping mechanism, it's important to change their relationship with both the substance and their identity. Spiritual transformation is not just about abstaining from alcohol, but about reclaiming sovereignty over one's consciousness. One effective method for this is the use of power affirmations, such as "My body is a temple of pure energy" or "I am aligned with my true essence," which help to reprogram subconscious beliefs and anchor new higher vibrations. Changing one's environment and social circle to surround oneself with people and spaces that foster growth and consciousness is also crucial to long-lasting change. Self-healing practices like energy therapy, conscious hypnosis, and transpersonal psychology can address the underlying psychological and emotional roots of alcohol consumption. True spiritual transformation is not merely about ceasing the consumption of alcohol. It is about reclaiming control over one's consciousness, allowing the vital energy that was once dispersed by alcohol to be redirected towards spiritual awakening, higher perception, and alignment with the soul's divine purpose. The path to healing, therefore, is a journey back to inner power, a journey that involves reconnecting with ancestral wisdom, rediscovering the sacred within, and aligning with the light that exists in every being. By practicing these methods of cleansing and reestablishing spiritual clarity, we begin to reclaim the energy that was once scattered and lost, and realign with our true essence. This process of self-healing is one of returning to the source, the light that resides within us all, and moving forward on a path of spiritual awakening. Now that we've journeyed through the spiritual consequences of alcohol and explored the methods to heal its energetic impact, it's time to draw this exploration to a close with a powerful reflection and an invitation to self-awareness. What we've uncovered in this journey is a truth that cannot be ignored. Alcohol does not merely affect the mind and body, but it also profoundly alters our energy, our soul, and our connection to the divine. Across different cultures and spiritual traditions, the substance known as Al-Kuhul has been regarded with caution, not just as an intoxicant, but as a veil that clouds perception, distancing us from our purest essence and our higher purpose. But the lesson here is not just about alcohol's dangers. It's about the deeper message of choosing clarity over confusion, consciousness over illusion, and elevation over stagnation. The true wisdom revealed is that the focus should not be on prohibition or fear, but on a profound understanding of our own choices. Each human being is free to decide what they consume, what they invite into their bodies, and what they choose to nourish their spirit with. Yet, with this freedom comes great responsibility. Every choice has consequences, not just for the body, but for the soul. Spiritual awakening is not about rejecting the material world, but about learning to navigate it with wisdom, without becoming trapped by its distractions. It's entirely possible to live a life full of joy, love, and connection without turning to substances that drain energy, fragment the soul, and disconnect us from our higher nature. If you've reached this point in your journey, it's likely because there's a deep yearning within you, a quiet calling that stirs your soul toward clarity, balance, and the expansion of consciousness. This is the essence of true spiritual growth, returning to yourself, reconnecting with your inner power, and vibrating in your fullest, most authentic expression. The decision is yours. You hold within you the power to transform your energy, to restore your essence, and to begin walking toward a higher, more awakened version of yourself. In every moment, we have the opportunity to choose the path of inner freedom, to choose a life where we are conscious of the energies we surround ourselves with, where we understand that each action, each thought, each choice has an impact on our spiritual evolution. This awareness is the first step toward true mastery over our lives. As you move forward, remember that healing is not about perfection, but about progress, about returning to a place of alignment with your true self, one choice at a time. This is the path of spiritual awakening, to live consciously, to elevate your vibration, and to be the fullest expression of who you are meant to be. In the end, it's not about condemning anything, but about making conscious decisions that nurture and protect your energy. Alcohol, like any substance, can be consumed in moderation and with awareness, but the true power lies in understanding its effects on your body, your mind, and your soul. With this knowledge, you can choose to live in a way that supports your highest potential. You have the power, the freedom, and the responsibility to make choices that align with your divine nature. Your spiritual journey begins with each small decision to live more consciously, to embrace your true essence, and to raise your vibration in alignment with your higher self. The path forward is yours to walk, and it begins now.